quite interesting. Eve Kasino is here. She's a cybersecurity expert. Eve, there's a time we're going to see flying cars, and not just in 10 years, 2023.
Yeah.
If Uber, that works.
Yeah, yeah.
That is interesting.
It's going to be amazing.
All right. So Eve is here to help us dive into that conversation. It is Tech Central. And our conversation this morning is how to protect your social media accounts, especially given with the whole drama with Facebook and Cambridge Analytica. Eve, it's so good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
First of all, let's begin with the terms and conditions that we see social media, these social media firms making sure that they clearly give out to people. These terms and conditions, what do they have on them? Because I'm sure a lot of people do not read them because they are long.
They're meant to be long because, I mean, it's all about how your data is being portrayed online. And so for most of the people, especially if I come and tell you today there's this new app that is supposed to be a watchdog on your phone, you'll just ask me how many people have downloaded it. And the next thing is that you'll download it, install it on your phone, and you want it just real time. So you don't have that much time to read what it's going to do. And if it is synchronizing with your emails or, you know, any other apps on your phone. And it's interesting because once you just do next, finish, and then the next time you're seeing some of your content being put live, you're like, why didn't Facebook tell me? You didn't read. It's because you didn't read the terms and conditions.
They're quite long.
They are long, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about why. It's a bit obvious to protect your identity, but could you spell out for us more reasons why it is important to protect our digital footprints on our social media accounts?
Well, number one, I think with what recently happened with Cambridge Analytica, which is just like a tip of the iceberg, people need to be able to understand how their data is being used online. And I mean, from the fact that you will go on an online e-commerce shop and, you know, just add to the cart, how does that information translate? Because if I'm a business person and I'm using social media to sell, I'm going to rely on Facebook getting that information from you to be able to tell me in Nairobi or in the particular place where I'm selling, there are this amount of people who access this data. So, I mean, if you're not careful to give out that data, I might not be able to know as a buyer, so. Yeah.
But if there's this other thing, you know, when you're updating your social media platforms, they always ask you, can we have access to your pictures? What else? Your email, videos.
Yeah, your location.
Your location. Location, I can a bit understand, especially with Google Maps. But why do you need access to my videos and my pictures if...
So that I can get the algorithms of what you search more on social media. Because if, especially for me who uses now social media as a tool to sell, I need to be able to know if I'm going to use videos or audio or text, what kind of people am I targeting? So that I'm able to know in Nairobi, then if I'm going to sell a particular product in Nairobi, then it will gather this amount of people.
Right.
And this amount of people use this information. And especially if, and for instance, for Instagram, it has to be video, audio. So I have to have that information from you, who is so oblivious to just say next, finish and not care.
Yeah, we just allow.
And you just allow, without knowing what you're allowing, actually.
You know, Twitter, just last month in April, they were updating their app and they were asking you whether you wanted to update. Now, the difference between Twitter and Facebook is that Facebook, it's a yes or a no. Twitter at least gives you the option of remind me later.
All of them actually give you remind me later. The thing is, when it's called patching, and most softwares have a schedule on how they patch. So, I mean, for instance, if you find that Facebook people are really hacking a lot, so the security team has an obligation to start improving on their security. So it will give you a notification that between a certain time, you need to upgrade your software so that you can receive that new patch. So Twitter will give it to you like, remind me later, with even Apple does that. But for Facebook and Instagram, it is do it now, or, you know, if you don't do it now, then you're skipped by that patch.
So patching.
Yeah.
And it's important to do that because that's where the security updates come in.
Yeah, any updates that are, I mean, software is always constantly being updated.
Right.
So if you need to get the current updates, you need to patch your software.
And if you don't patch your software, you make yourself vulnerable to attacks.
Yes.
All right, fantastic. That's important. Let's talk about, since we're on security, is there a right way to come up with a password? Because a lot of people just use, you know, Sugar Tea Lovely 101, you know?
True.
Is there a right way to come up with a proper password that is secure?
Normally, I think I've seen software right now asking you to have mandatory caps letters.
Yes.
You have to have alphanumeric. So you have to have an alphabet and a numeral. For me, it's very, I think it's become common for me to just, if my password is Zinzi, I will specialize that Zinzi. So instead of using probably Zinzi 2018, I will use Zinzi with a capital Z.
Right.
And then 2018 will be the special keys. So
Right.
you wouldn't know that my Zinzi 2018, the actual 2018 is the numeral.
And
2018,
the other thing is that we use our names,
a
birthday
lot.
dates, name
Because
of our
it's what is
dogs.
familiar. With your kids.
Your kids.
Your favorite food.
Isn't that not dangerous?
It isn't. I mean, if it's what helps you remember your password, you should not use something that you wouldn't remember, obviously.
Right.
But just make it a bit complicated, not just simple in the fact that it does not have a caps, it does not have numerals and a special key. Yeah. Just make it a little bit complicated. Because the softwares that are there to crack passwords, they use numerals and alphabets.
Right.
So if I install something on your phone or your computer to just grab passwords, it will give me the very easy passwords that you have on your URL. And then the other mistake we do is to tell the browsers, remember me. So you've put your passwords and then the browsers are supposed to just log you every time you come in.
Or save. I never do that. I have trust issues, so I never do that.
Very many people actually do that because how many passwords do you have anyway?
That's the
so
thing.
many. Yeah.
So when Chrome or Mozilla ask you, remember me or save, it's a no. That's a red flag, no.
Yeah. Because you see, if you have updated cookies on your browser, it will still pick those kind of things.
Okay, so let's talk about other ways that we can also protect our digital footprint online, more so on our social media accounts. So have a great password.
Yeah.
You call it patching.
Yes.
Make sure you patch. Do not save or I'll remember me next time.
Yeah.
What other way can we protect our digital footprint?
Because nowadays, I think most people are accessing information from their mobile phones.
Right.
It's important to have a good antivirus, not the free version antivirus. Have a good antivirus. And I mean, for 1,000 bob, you can get a good antivirus.
Not the free ones.
Not the free ones. I mean, the free ones don't give you full right protection. They will give you just a little bit of protection and tell you if you want more, you have to purchase.
So even I didn't know. That's quite interesting. So even on my mobile phone, I should have an antivirus.
Yes, yes. It's very important. Because I mean, how many times are you on your computer?
Right, and always using an USB to attach to other computers. And those
your
viruses...
Bluetooth is on, so if you use Bluetooth a lot, you're using your Google Maps a lot. And I mean, you're on mobile data basically all the time. And if I ask you right now, how many times do you log off your Facebook, for instance, or your Instagram, and log on again, I mean, it's never. Your Instagram is constantly logged on.
So is my email, etc.
And then you have mobile banking on your phone, I'm sure. And then you're doing all these things. And I think for platforms like social media, Facebook, for instance, I will use Facebook as an example. It has good security, but it has these third-party apps.
The third verification step?
No. The third-party apps where, like, for instance, I know I saw something the other day of which Black Panther character are you. When you're going into those applications, your antivirus should be telling you if that application is safe, because that is a third-party application. It's not a Facebook application.
Those things where you get to play those games and do things.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So those are third-party applications, so they may not really be secure. So when you're playing them, for instance, like when I use my phone to try and see like what Black Panther character I am, it tells me this site is not secure. It will just give me a red code. It will just keep flashing. So if I decide to ignore it and proceed, if I get viruses, it's up to me. But at least the antivirus has warned me that this application is not 100% secure. But it is using Facebook platforms. So,
okay.
Yeah.
That's quite interesting. Let's talk about the three-step verification. Even on social media, many people tend to ignore it, again, because it's quite a process. But it's important to go through it.
It is. I mean, for instance, there are two ways you can do it. You can have, when you log into your social media, you can have a code sent to your phone to finish the login process, which is two-factor authentication.
Yes.
You could actually you could choose to use your phone, as in to get a verification code on your phone or an email that you trust.
Yeah.
Alternatively, for people who use social media for business, you probably have very many accounts. I mean, you have Twitter, you have Facebook, all these accounts. It's good for you to have your passwords secured, and if you need to share them with someone, then you're using this scheduled applications like Buffer, Hootsuite. Then if you're in my office, I don't necessarily need to give you my Twitter password. If I give you the Hootsuite, you can access it. So you'll keep doing what you need to do if it's updating social media and everything, but you do not have that access to change any privacy settings.
And speaking of passwords, these public passwords that we see in matatus, in restaurants, would you advise that?
At least they're passwords. I mean, the Wi-Fi is protected by a password. What I really, really don't advocate is the free password. So you go somewhere and then you see an open Wi-Fi.
Right.
Those are not very secure.
That's a really, okay.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about digital literacy for kids, because we've got to also acknowledge the fact that kids in this 21st century have social media on their phones. Let's talk about digital literacy for kids. One, why it's important for parents to have their kids involved in that, and why it's important.
So why is the fact that for them it is life. For us, it's just like a brave kind of society. We were not raised on social media, obviously, but our children, you will find that they have a digital footprint even before they come to the world. Because as a mother, I will start taking photos of when I'm pregnant. So it is important for kids, for parents especially, to be able to understand how to bring their kids into technology, and for the kids themselves, when they're accessing technology, they're using the internet. It is important for them to know how to be a digital citizen, because what they portray in their offline life should be what it is portrayed on their online life. And for them, they'll come across so many things that they don't know how to handle, like cyberbullying. They could be cyberbullied, but we also have to be aware as parents that our children could be bullies. So there's that balance. So how do you deal with the both? And for instance, if your children are just, trusting so easily that they will just keep sharing the information, especially so you've taken your kids to the Junction Mall and they're alone and they're posting on their social media that I'm at the movie, I'm at the Junction, I'm without care. I mean, anybody could come and kidnap your kids for ransom, because they know by the time you're taking your kids to such a place, you could have money.
Right.
I mean, it's not so security-wise for them. So it is important for us to start having these conversations with our kids. What you post online, the internet never forgets. So you might post something silly today, in 10, 20 years, someone will come up with that information and scandalize you, or it will come and be your downfall, stuff like that. So it is for us now, what we do is that we help children understand what it means to have a digital footprint, how to become a digital citizen, and how to use the internet meaningfully, because the internet is just not for entertainment. You can do so many things with the internet. So when they have some creative ideas, some creative things they do, we can in turn turn that to entrepreneurship. So
also it's then, which is very true and key, and it's also then it's a parent's business to then talk to their kids that, yes, I'm giving you a phone, and I want you to be safe and secure. These are the do's and don'ts of social media, how to keep safe. Because like you said, growing up, our parents used to tell us, don't talk to strangers. That don't talk to strangers is now translated on the phone. You know, who are you talking to online, right? But then again, not so many parents are then very well conversant with digital literacy. Like you said, cyberbullying. Your child could be the one being bullied or the bully. So then it's up to parents to do their homework.
We actually help them, because we have a parental class called Unplugged, where now we tell the parents what they should be looking out for. Because the thing is, we have to be literate for us to be able to transfer that education to our children. So when we don't know what to do, then we don't know what to tell our children.
Right.
So we have to start with the parents. When we educate the parents and they know these are the kind of things you need to start watching out, then at least we can work together to see how the children now take up that digital literacy platform.
What's your closing remarks for Kenyans, especially when it comes to being a proper digital citizen?
Well, start by educating yourself. Don't be oblivious to the fact that, the internet is there. There are so many things that are good with the internet, but you need to be aware how to leverage properly on it. So if you need to read things, just make time. Don't install things, haphazardly.
Read the terms and conditions.
Try and read, or ask. You don't necessarily need to read, because you might read and it's so complicated and you don't understand. Just ask people like us. I mean, just, Evelyn, what is this? What happens when I install this and this and this? And at least you will be making an informed decision on what you're doing.
Thank you so much, Eve. Eve Kasino, who is a cybersecurity expert, understanding how we can protect our digital footprint online. I will tell you what I will not be doing is finding out which Black Panther character I am. That is not happening. And installing an antivirus. Michael, do you even read the terms and conditions? Let's just start there.
I will be very honest, especially with those applications that you put on your phone and they ask allow, allow, allow. I normally deny until it gets to a point where now I cannot allow anymore, or it cannot install. Then it's like, then you go back and you go allow.
So you are guilty as charged.
I am guilty as charged, but I will improve my security.
Cybersecurity.
Yes, the other thing that I think I would be guilty of is probably passwords. And I don't use my name, I don't use my children's names, I don't use any of those, but I think I need to do more of the alphanumeric and
And don't use your dog's name. It's a bit obvious.
Well, I don't have a dog, but maybe Shalom's dog. But anyway, that's a story for another day. Thank you very much for enlightening us on cybersecurity. And you talked about children's awareness and being global citizens. And I guess this is important. There's a gentleman who once came here and he was literally able to hack into several Wi-Fi connections. How dangerous are Wi-Fi connections, especially like now at home? Who has access to that internet? Most of us now are installing internet at home, but on the back end, who has access? And I know there are people who are able to possibly even get into your homes through your cameras in the house, on your phone. Tell us a little bit about that as we wind up.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to scandalize Zuku, but they have a common way on how they install passwords. So if I get to know that you're on, say, a Zuku line, it will be very easy for me to just
get into, hack into the system.
Because
so it's important once they've installed it to change it. To
change your password, to something that is not what they left you with, the default password.
All right.
It's easy.
All right.
And I mean also sharing with your guests. I mean, your guests come home and they're the ones who they're always asking for your Wi-Fi password. So you should be able to virtualize your password for guests and people who regularly.
All right, well, time is up, and from me, I'd like to say thank you very much for keeping us company right here on Morning Express. My name is Michael Gitonga. Have yourselves a good day. God bless.
All right, and I'm Zinzi Kibiku. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'd love to leave you with images, live images of CBD. Take a look at how traffic is, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Same time, same place. Bye-bye.